Dear students, welcome back to our new lecture for the subject of accounting for the topics of double entry system, that is debit and credit. This class is for business studies group students. I hope you have understood that last lecture of double entry system. In double entry system, each transaction that measured or measurable in terms of money is expressed in dual entity. There is no alternative method of double entry system to know the actual result and the financial position of business. Double entry system is the dependable, scientific, and complete system for keeping accounts in the business. This account system has many benefits. For these advantages of double entry in large business organization, this method is very popular for keeping accounts. Since debit and credit of each transactions are analyzed and recorded in equal amount, the complete account of any transaction can be obtained. Dear learners, as the revenue income or revenue expenditures are recorded correctly and completely in this method, the net profit or loss is possible to calculate preparing comprehensive income statement after a particular time. For each transaction, equal amount will be debit and credited. Therefore, the arithmetical accuracy can be tested on a certain date by preparing a trial balance. Preparing financial statement on a certain date, the financial condition of a firm can be obtained. Under this method, excessive expenses can easily be controlled. If the accounts are kept under this method, the faults and forgery can easily be detected and thus be prevented. The owner can detect his or her total dues and credits anytime under the double entry system and take necessary steps. If the accounts are kept under this method, the various types of tax like income tax, VAT, import and export duty, corporate tax, etc. become acceptable for concerned authorities. Double entry system overall being a scientific, complete, faultless and dependable has been recognized as a universally accepted system. Dear learners, today I will solve a creative question for this chapter, that is double entry system. At first, you have to write the question in your accounting practice copy. Creative question number 1. AB traders kept the all up books under double entry system. On October 2020, the following transactions occurred in his business. Number 1. Cash brought Taka 15 lakh into the business as capital. October 12. Clothes purchased on credit Taka 25 lakh. 23. Furniture purchased in cash Taka 60,000. 24. Salary paid to manager Adiba Taka 8,000. That is version number 102. October 30, commission received in cash taka 8,500. October 31, goods purchased by check taka 1,20,000 at 5% discount. From the above stem, you have to require the 3 questions. Requirement A, what is the total amount of goods purchased for this business? Requirement B, determine the debit and credit from the above transactions. Requirement C, prepare the voucher number 102 for the transaction of October 24. Dear learners, I think you have written the question in your accounting practice copy. Now, I will go for solving this question. At first, you have to know what is goods purchased in this business. In this business or in this system, totally 3 purchases are related, but only 2 transactions are related to goods purchased. Number 1 is for October 12, clothes purchased on credit. Clothes, one kind of product or goods in this business, so it is equivalent to goods purchased for taka 25 lakh. Another one, October 31, goods purchased by check, taka 1,20,000 at 5% discount. 5% discount, that is trade discount or purchase discount. You know, purchase discount is deducted from the total amount of price, that is 1,20,000. 5%, 6,000, it will be deducted from the total amount. So goods purchase amount would be taka 1,14,000. Overall, in this system, total amount of goods purchased 26,14,000. But October 23 is not included in goods purchase because it is furniture purchase, that is one kind of fixed asset purchase. So no fixed asset is recorded in the goods purchased amount. Dear learners, I think you have understood the total amount of goods purchased. After discussing this question, I will show for watching in front of you in the content full solution of this math. Requirement B, determine the debit and credit from the above transactions. For the first transaction, cash brought taka 15 lakh into the business as capital. When cash brought in business, that is asset increased in business and into business as capital. So capital is increased in the business. Capital increasing, that's for equity increased. So for the first transaction, 2 accounts are opened. The cash, another one capital. For increasing cash account is debit. For increasing capital amount, capital account is credit. October 12, clothes purchased on credit. It is one kind of goods purchase. When goods purchased, then purchase account is opened and on credit this amount, so liability increased. That's for accounts payable or creditors account is credit. For this transaction of 12, purchase account is debit and accounts payable is credit. October 23, furniture purchased in cash. For purchasing furniture account is opened and cash has gone and cash account is opened. Overall debit and credit for this transaction, furniture account is debit and cash account is credit. 24, salary paid to manager Adiba. Salary paid, that's per expenses increased and cash decreased. So for this transaction, salary expense account is debit and cash account is credit. October 30, commission received in cash. In this transaction, 2 accounts are involved. cash account, another one commission revenue. For cash increasing, then cash account is debit, and for commission receiving, then commission revenue account is credited. Then the last transaction for 31, goods purchased by check at 5% discount. For goods purchasing, then purchase account is opened, and by check, that is bank account is opened. For this transaction, purchase account is debit 1,14,000 and bank account credit 1,14,000. Dear learners, I think you have listened very carefully in my space overall the solution of creative question. Now I will show you the solution of this question. The first requirement is available in front of you. Requirement A. The total amount of goods purchased is shown below. In general format, date, particulars, amount, taka, detail and total. Totally 2 transactions are involved in this requirement, October 12 and October 31. October 12, 5 clothes purchased on credit for taka 25 lakh. And October 31, goods purchased by check at the rate of 5% discount, that is the amount of taka 1,14,000. So total amount of goods purchased 26,14,000 in this business. Dear learners, you have to write in a hurry. Now we can go for requirement B. Determination of debit and credit. Now you have to write, determine the debit and credit of the above transactions as follows. Totally 4 columns are available for determining debit and credit. Date, account titles with debit and credit. Third one debit taka, fourth one credit taka. For the first transaction, October 1, cash account debit, capital account credit. Debit taka column 15 lakh, in credit taka column the same amount. October 12, purchase account debit, accounts payable or creditors account credit for taka 25 lakh, 25 lakh. 23, furniture account debit, cash account credit for taka 60,000. Next transaction is salaries expense debit, cash account credit. Salaries expense debit, cash account credit. October 30, for receiving commission, cash account debit, commission revenue account credit for taka 8,500. The last transaction is October 31, goods purchased by check at 5% discount. So for this transaction, purchase account debit, bank account credit for taka 1,14,000. Dear learners, this is the solution of determining debit and credit for this question. Requirement C. Preparing voucher for the transaction on October 24 at first. You have to see the learning workbook or your textbook and then prepare a draw prepare or draw a debit voucher very easily. Try it and prepare it, dear learners. It's for only you. I hope you have to dear students, totally 6 evidences or documents of transactions are available in your book. The first one is cash memo, second one is invoice or challan, third one is debit voucher, fourth one is credit voucher, fifth one is debit note, sixth one is credit note. But for this requirement, preparing voucher for the transaction of October 24, it's related to debit voucher because it's a transaction that is expenses transaction. Salary paid is one kind of expenses. When voucher is used for expenses, then it is called debit voucher. I think you can do it. Try it and prepare it, dear learners. Now I can go for another important topics: types of primary books or journal. The main accounts is kept under double entry system. After transaction occurs, then it is identified as debit and credit is ascertained, and then it is recorded in a book. This book is known as the primary book of account or journal. But how many types of primary books or journal? Totally 7 types of primary books or journal. Number 1 is purchase journal. Second one is sales journal. Third one is purchase return journal. Fourth one is sales return journal. Fifth one is cash receipt journal. Sixth one is cash payment journal. Seventh one is, this is the last one, journal proper. Purchase journal. Goods purchased on credit are recorded in this journal. Sales journal. Goods sold on credit are recorded in this journal. Purchase return journal. In purchase return journal, goods purchased on credit are returned and are recorded in this journal. Sales return journal. In sales return journal, goods sold on credit returned are recorded in this journal. Cash receipt journal. Transactions that relates to cash receipt are recorded in this journal. Cash or check receipt. Cash payment journal. Transaction related to cash paid or check paid are recorded in this journal. Journal proper. Transactions which are not to be recorded the above 6 journals. They recorded in journal proper. Journals. You have to know it. You have to understand it. How many types of primary books and how to identify the journal or primary books from each transaction. Now, for learning or for knowing, identify the primary books of accounts from the transaction. Just you are seeing in my content a new question for identifying the primary books. Mr. Naim is a businessman. Following transactions took place in his business in January 2020. January 1, owner brought in business cash taka 1,90,000 and bank balance taka 70,000. In this transaction, cash and bank, that is cash increasing or bank increasing, so it's related to cash receipt journal in primary books. January 2, goods purchased on account, that is on credit. When goods purchased on credit or on account, then it's related to purchase journal. January 7, sold goods by check. When cash received or check received, then it is related to sales journal. Cash receipt journal. Cash receipt journal. January 10, paid taka 1,000 for insurance premium. When any amount paid in cash or by check, then it is related to cash payment journal. January 12, stationery purchased on credit. only goods purchased on credit, then it is recorded in purchase journal. But any other expenses or any other item or asset purchased on credit, then it is related to journal proper. Journal proper. January 16, goods sold to Adnan. Without information, it is treated as on credit sales, so it is recorded in sales journal. January 20, Mr. N, that is name, pays his son's school tuition fees from the business. Paying amount, that is related to cash payment journal. January 22, return to suppliers, that is purchase return or return outward. So this transaction is recorded in purchase return journal. January 25, received taka 15,000 for apprentice premium. When any amount received for any activity, then it is related to cash received journal. January 27, bad debt, that is non-cash transaction. All types of non-cash transactions are recorded in journal proper. You have to remember it. January 29, salary unpaid or salary due or salary outstanding or salary payable. This is transaction, non-cash transaction also. So it is recorded in journal proper. The last one is January 31, return from Adnan. Return from, that is sales return or return inward. So it is recorded in sales return journal. Dear learners, I think you've understood my discussing topics, that is identification of primary books. I'm just showing in front of you the answer of this question. Date, that is name of primary books. Only 2 columns are used for this answer. January 1, cash receipt journal. January 2, purchase journal. January 7, cash receipt journal. January 10, cash payment journal. January 12, proper journal. January 16, sales journal. January 20, cash payment journal. January 22, purchase return journal. January 25, cash receipt journal. January 27, proper journal. January 29, proper journal. January 31, sales return journal. Dear students, I think you have written the whole lecture in your accounting practice copy. For your betterment, you have to practice more and more at your home, because this is the main important topics. Main and important topics for the subject of accounting, that is double entry system, and part of debit and credit, and identification of primary book. I think I've understood this lecture very easily. Okay, dear students, thank you very much. Thanks for being today. Allah Hafiz.